This training is going to be about the monthly report, also known as a CRP 22. There's two ways to access this report. You can access it via the missing monthly reports. When we entered our transactions, we entered them in the month of September, so it is now October. It now shows in the missing monthly reports. So we can select this button, and then that would send us to the monthly progress report, which will populate the consumer's name, the authorization for that missing report. So that is one way to access it. The other way to access it would be over in the sidebar, job processing under forms, and then CRP-22, it also has CRP progress report. So if we select that, we'll get the actual list of reports, and then we have the create report. Now in this section, you'll notice that the consumer and that information is not populated. We would have to populate that information. So let's go ahead and do that. I have my consumer here that I'm going to select, and then I'm going to select the authorization number. The date of report is extremely important. The work that we performed was in September, and to make everything work in the system correctly, we need to close out that month with this report. So what I want to do is have this report the last day of September. And then I can have estimated completion date as needed. So let's go ahead and just mark that for October 31st. Then you would populate all of the information. We have goals, objectives, results, productivity, assessment, consumer assessment, post test, recommendations, and then we have the signatures. And make sure to read which signature it belongs to. The first one here is consumer signature. Then we have the staff signature, and then there's a other signature. And then those are dated with the current date, which are editable as needed. And then you can have these signed. At the bottom is the report status, and this status, when you save it, if you're finished with it, update it to complete. If you're populating the information and then you need to go back for signatures, you can set this as pending and submit the report. And then you'll see the report there. If I go back, it sends me back to the list, which it says pending here. If I go back to the dashboard, you'll notice that it's still showing here. The only way for it to remove off of your dashboard is to update it to a complete status. So I can go back in here and edit, fill out the information, whatever needs to be edited. If I need to go back and get signatures, I can get that all signed, and then I would update this to complete. And then I can save the changes. And then here, if I go back to my dashboard, you'll notice that the report's gone. So it must be in the month that the work was done. That's the report date, and then it must be in a complete status to be marked off of your dashboard. Let's go back to our list, and then you can see we have a report number, we have the consumer, the date, the counselor, the authorization number, and then this is what the service is. You can see that it's now completed. I can go back in and view. I didn't populate any information. There's nothing here really. And then I can preview that PDF again if I need to. Here I also have a filter. So if I do have a long list of information here, I can update information here in the filter, and it would limit the information in my list. And then I can hide that filter again. So that concludes the training on our monthly CRP 22 report.